Welcome back to Talking Smack, guys, for another episode. Got your host as usual, Isaac, here, and co-host as usual, Jackson Airy, the Bulldozers. We've got a good card here in UFC 293. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the recap of UFC 292, and we've just got some other bits to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about Logan Paul and his fight, and some other news in the atmosphere at the moment, but we hope you enjoy. We can start off with a shout out to Max Holloway, Korean Zombie.
That's right. But yeah, before we step into it, I mean we've got last week's fights with Holloway and the Korean Zombie on a nice little fight night there. It's the first one that we've sort of covered, but we wanted to give a quick little shout out to the Korean Zombie
For sure.
Absolutely love him. He's been brilliant for the UFC over the years. He's a very, very humble fighter, and so is Max Holloway in that respect. And the bloody bastard has had me singing Zombie all week.
Oh no!
In your hair. Oh man, God. It was like just him walking out to it, and he's just like getting the crowd going. Everyone's like the whole arena. Everyone in Singapore is singing it.
Everyone's blowing up.
And even after he lost the fight, just the tribute to him walking off and walking out of the canvas, and everyone's getting around. It was truly one of the best retirements, and one of the biggest signs of respect I've seen from a crowd from UFC in a long time, which was really cool. You sort of compare it to like your Robbie Lawlers and stuff that had a little tribute video afterwards, which is cool, and good on Robbie Lawler for getting the win then. But no, this one in particular, he showed he was nothing but humble. Same goes with Max Holloway, and no, it was really, really good to see. So
yeah, it really was. I loved seeing the Korean Zombie. Not the way he went out necessarily, but he went out on his shield. That's kind of how he likes to do it.
Yeah, that's.
But when they played Zombie at the end, the whole crowd just cried. It's one of those picks of a song where like putting the right song on is going to really change people's emotions. Yeah. They were already sad, but that sad song at the end, they were just.
Yeah, I know.
It
really felt like the end of an era, even if you haven't been alongside the Korean Zombie for the whole time. I was sitting at work watching it with a few mates actually, and we were watching it, and everyone was like, "Nah, like this bloke's for real," like he's like everyone's obviously paying respects to him, and good on him for doing so as well. So good on you, Korean Zombie. You've got the Aryan Sakatron seal of approval on that one, mate. You've done a good job. Yeah. Enjoy your rest.
That's it. That's a very valid seal of approval too.
I was about to say, listen, if anything's worth a title, it is the second Aratron.
It goes like that. It's a unanimous title, BMF belt. Secondary approval.
That's right.
Anything else below it.
Yep, that's right. Bang on.
Kind of went out as well. Max Holloway kind of knocked him out pretty well, to be fair. And that kind of good. It makes me feel like that division's kind of stalled up a little bit because no one can get past Max, but then Max can't beat Alex.
That's right. It's like there's a lot of back and forths going on whether or not there should be a fourth fight, and when it has been a 3-0 blowout, and Volk's even pursuing other divisions in trying to see who's sort of next and what he can take on. I just don't see anyone really stopping him. Those two sort of definitely gatekeep that division a little bit
for sure.
So you can't really expect to see too much more come out of that division, but you can see some good lower tier fights as soon as you take those two out of the equation. There's plenty of good fights, so it's always going to be an interesting division with those two at the top. But it's underneath and the up and comers that you should really look forward to in that.
That's it. I mean, even O'Malley was like, "I'm not fighting Alex."
Yeah,
I don't want to get killed in there.
And hell, even Sterling said before he fought O'Malley, he was very like, I want to step up. I want to take on Volk. And then, after the fight, he was like, yeah, look, probably got some stuff to work on before I take on Volk. And it's like, yeah, well, fair enough. He's the GOAT for a reason. He's the GOAT for a reason. And
next level.
Yep. No, he's another bloke that's got my seal of approval for sure.
That's it. Yeah. But definitely, we had to shout out that fight. Now, usually we don't cover fight nights or talk about them too much. Focus on the main cards, but that one was a bit of a banger to be fair.
It was.
I liked a lot of the card.
Yeah, that's right. It was definitely a highlight for sure, and that's something that we really want to see, and it's awesome for the UFC and everyone involved.
That's it. So that kind of covers it for that, guys. We're going to jump straight into a recap here for UFC 292. because there was a lot of explosive fights in a sense, a big kind of replacement at the end, but we'll talk about that.
Brilliant card.
Yeah.
Like from start to finish. I suppose we'll go Cheeto versus Pedro to start off with.
Yeah.
It was sort of a bit of a slower fight and was paced sort of very differently.
Yeah.
Cheeto coming up with a win there by decision. Yep. Which is a tick for both of us in our
definitely
little crack that we had there. But
little tips we gave, yeah.
That's right. I definitely think Pedro came out swinging and looked really good in the first couple of rounds, and it could have sort of gone either way from those first 2 rounds, but Cheeto really teed off in that third one and really sort of made it his from there on. So
started letting loose a bit for sure.
Yeah, that's right. He sort of found his comfort zone and came away with the victory.
Yeah, pretty comfortable victory there. I did kind of tip it to. I thought he'd find a finish. But I guess it's pretty hard against Pedro. I actually did say if it went to decision, Pedro would win. But I tipped Cheeto because I was like, Cheeto's got that more.
Yep.
I thought he would win.
Yeah, no.
But I thought he'd knock him out, to be fair. But it's still a bit of a tick there.
No, that's all right. We'll count it. We'll count it. We'll back it in that sense. But I suppose a little bit more on Cheeto later to come. Later to come as we go through the card a little bit more. But
for sure.
But yeah, no, definitely a very cool fight to watch, and very stoked to see it all unfold.
Yeah, it was a good way to start the card off.
Yeah, most definitely.
And then we had one of the replacement fights. So you had Mario Bazista. I forget if that actually is his last name pronounced right. Forgive me. And Damon Blackshear. So those boys went at it. Damon actually did a better job than what I thought. 7 days notice.
That's right. So. I think I'm fairly sure it's the shortest turnover from any UFC fighter ever. Yeah. So that was really cool. To step off. Fighting the week prior and then coming into a card and just fighting straight off the bat. That shows some true grit and some true heart. For sure. He's an absolute freak in that department. Shit, I wouldn't want to get bashed 2 weekends in a row. So
no way.
It's mighty courageous of him and good on him too.
Yeah, you got to think if he had a full 6-week fight camp or anything like that he might have taken that win.
Yeah, most definitely.
It was close to me.
That's right. It wasn't as much of a blowout as what people say. And again, if you've got a camp and you're training for a said fighter, you can always expect to do a lot better if you're training for something or towards, a certain goal. But coming off it just based on your own skill level and still performing super well, good on you. You've got to show all the respect there. Definitely.
Well, I think we both still ticked Mario to win this one because I guess he was the more experienced fighter.
Yeah, that's right. You've seen we will take that win.
Yeah, we'll take that win. Even it was close though. I'll give it to them.
True.
Those boys are still up and comers, so they're still coming through the ranks.
Yep. That's right. But yeah, it was a good fight. No, I reckon the UFC is going to give Blackshear a lot of praise for for stepping up.
In, yeah.
Even with the loss, and UFC sort of try and make people relevant by cutting all the fighters that don't do well, so you get lots of fighters that go on big win streaks versing each other. That's what you want to see, and that's what people like. But all props to him. UFC are going to look after him for
sure
for stepping in with such short notice.
I mean, Hazmat's a bit of a different animal, but they rewarded him very much so for turning around quickly. If you fight a lot in a short amount of time, they love it.
That's right. That's right. That's what we want to see. You want to see active fighters, and you've got to back them in whenever you can in that scenario because they're the people that go out there to make the highlight reels. So
100%.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Neil Magny and Ian Gary.
Yeah.
A bit of a beef match here. Now
these boys definitely went at each other a fair bit in the press conference and whatnot.
That's right. There was a lot of controversy with Ian Gary being a family man and some of the comments that were said by Neil Magny. So there looked like there was a bit of beef there. Obviously building and stemming, it's a fight. There's always going to be a little bit of promotion about it. But even during the fight, Ian Gary showing a lot of disrespect towards the other corner, sticking the fingers up, mouthing off, and sort of didn't come to a finish like what we initially thought.
Yeah.
But it almost sort of seemed like a bit of torture. There was
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
There was a lot of damage to Neil Magny's legs throughout that fight. Some brilliant leg kicks and some excellent striking by Gary there as well. So we did predict that win. I think Ian Gary went a little bit overboard with the whole mouthing off thing, but at the same time, he's definitely a passionate fighter. There's no doubt about it.
For sure.
He's gonna give his 100% to everything, and he's not gonna half-ass anything like we've seen previously. You could sort of expect that coming into the fight and when it finished too.
For sure, he's very confident and he's very outbursty. Like he would say a lot of stuff, and he's definitely fights with emotions a little bit.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He just I feel the same way about it. Like he just wanted to inflict as much pain as possible on Neil because he just kind of bullied him a lot. Like he kept kicking those legs, even though he had some opportunities to kind of maybe not finish it. But he dropped Neil. I probably dropped him like 3 or 4 times just with leg kicks. It's like he kind of finish up here, even though Neil's very good on the ground.
And I think
he's compromised.
That's right. And he played it very smart that whole fight as well, considering he'd dropped to the ground and Neil wanted him to challenge him on the ground, but he just wasn't having a bar of it. He was like, stand up, let's go again. And and it's good, and that's ultimately what we want to see. I mean, it could have been sort of a bit more one-sided going the other way if it did turn into a grappling match, as even Gary said, and he's just challenged Wonderboy Thompson for his next fight because he knows himself as a striker and he wants to face the best strikers in the world because that's what's entertaining.
For sure.
He played his game really well there and came out with a W, so that's what we want to see.
That's exactly right. He did. And to be honest, Neil was a last minute, another nut. This was two of the 3. There was 3 switches, but then another one backed out, so they switched it again. This is one of those other ones where Neil was a late replacement fight
for another Neil, Jeff Neil.
Yeah, exactly.
In before that, and even there was some cool beef and some cool banter. But I think that was a better fight overall. I still think that's a brilliant turnover for the UFC.
Oh, it's a good switch for sure.
That's right.
Neil's not bad.
That's right. No, and that's right. It's sort of he's someone that's gatekeeping the top 10 for a little bit, and Ian Gary even called him out prior to this fight as well. So it also sort of became a bit of a story tale ending for Ian Gary in that.
For sure, yeah. He's probably happy with his rise in the ranks, and he's like he just said he's called out Stephen Wonderboy. Once he gets that, and if he finishes him or beats him, it kind of lines him up for a title shot if he kind of talks his game, right?
That's right. That's right. You've seen it plenty of times before with people that promote themselves well enough, and he's one of those fighters that can definitely do that. So, looking forward to seeing more Ian Gary in the future, and I'd love to see someone stop him, but at the rate he's going, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, that's it. If he versus Wonderboy, I'm scared for Wonderboy, to be fair. Yeah. He's a great striker, but Ian's tall. He struggles with tall people.
Yeah, that's right. He's doing very well. So, we'll definitely cover that when we get to that stage.
100%.
Sure.
And then we got Weili Zhang versus Amanda Lemos. Now, this one could, I think we said going in that, Amanda's got good jiu-jitsu and she's a great boxer, but, Weili's just... She's overpowered for that division.
Absolutely outperformed in every single way possible. Yeah. It didn't matter if it went to the ground. It didn't matter if it was standing up. Amanda just didn't know what to do. And fair enough too. I think that was by far Zhang's best performance ever.
All-round performance
there was
for sure.
There was no sort of denying that is her peak. And she's been in the game for a little bit now, so we're starting to think, is this the peak? She's training very hard and going back and watching some of her videos, she really has trained hard to get to where she is now.
For sure.
She's just going to keep going and keep showing her dominance over that division, and I just don't see anyone stopping her at this stage. That was just such a brutal, one-sided fight.
Yeah.
And it went the distance. It went the distance.
Which is crazy.
And it was huge. When I mean, it's something to go the distance in a 3-round fight when it's so one-sided, getting beat. And props to Amanda for going 5 rounds and getting beat. That shows some heart. I think it's back to the drawing board for Amanda for a little bit. But it really just goes to show that Zhang is just a completely different fighter. And
she is.
Yeah, no, props to her. She's truly one of the goats. She's awesome. Yeah. She's really, really awesome.
Especially with Amanda retiring and then Shevchenko still waiting to fight for her title shot. It's like Weili's the female GOAT right now for sure. She's the top of the food chain.
That's right. She's and I don't see anyone calling her out anytime soon.
No, not in that division for sure.
No, I can definitely see that just being very very level and her just showing a dominance for future fights. But yeah, the matchups will be interesting. But I think for a long time coming, I am going to be backing in Weili for this.
100%. Yeah, I'm backing her every time in again. I thought she'd finish, but like you said, it's so one-sided. Good on for Amanda for holding on. Not just holding on, but like doing a good job in like what you can against someone that out of your reach skill wise, but still she held on. She lasted 5 rounds.
Yep, no, and I mean that says something too. Yeah. When you've got that heart and you can show that courage to not give up and not give in, and like there was plenty of times where that fight nearly could have ended. There was some very, very deep submissions there, and even Amanda came pretty close there once. But
she almost caught her.
But at the same time, that's not something to be too disappointed about. When you've got a fighter that's just performing so well and you lose, but you hold your own and you don't actually, you can see out the distance and still do okay. That's not so much of a loss. That's so much of a what can we do to improve my game plan.
Exactly.
Going into a fight and a potential rematch later on, what can we do to sort of boost this? So it's good on Weili. Absolutely smashed it. Put on an absolute clinic. Yeah, she is a goat at the moment.
For sure. She killed it. Always back Weili.
Oh, yeah. Weili's sick, man.
And then to top it off, you had your main card, Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. So, another good fight, to be fair, especially with the build-up. There was a lot of, trash talking from both sides. Obviously, O'Malley loves his trash talking, and he's obviously already got his own, podcast. He's big on YouTube. Yep. So he's got a wider audience to reach. But Aljo was just like, I'm going to destroy this guy.
and I think he went into that fight incredibly confident as well.
He always does.
And there was just so many factors to take into consideration for that fight. I mean, you look at Sugar and he didn't fight for a long time coming up to that fight. We obviously saw him doing a lot of behind the scenes groundwork as well. Obviously known as a striker, but doing a lot of things behind the scenes groundwork wise. Injured himself prior to, so didn't train any sort of grappling or anything like that for 5 weeks prior to the fight. And Aljamain sort of had a bit of a game plan going in there, looked very comfortable. Has defended the title many times. So you could almost see that just completely the script going the way that it should have been. But,
almost.
But that all got flipped on its head when Sean O'Malley hit one of the most flushest punches you've ever seen.
Very flush. Early second round, Aljo was just trying to close that distance a bit. Tried to reach in and just Malley just popped him
just overstepped and paid for it. It was so cool to watch. All the boys were sitting there screaming at the TV. We were like, oh my god, he's done it. That's it. And then immediately, and I think a massive thing to note is that UFC posted that knockout immediately on all of their social
everything.
Medias.
I noticed that too. Yep.
It was huge by the UFC to do that, and
for free really, in a sense. They never actually show the knockout.
That's right. When you're paying $60+ Australian for all these pay-per-view events, and to show the main event knockout straight off the bat, that means that UFC are putting a lot of back in this bloke in. They really want, all right, every single fight that Sugar O'Malley is in from now on, we want you guys to see it. This is what he's capable of doing, and it was a massive marketing move from UFC, and
huge, and
it paid off. That's all I've seen in my Instagram, my Facebook, all my socials for so long is just that knockout, and it was just so well televised and huge for O'Malley. Good for O'Malley. He really, he really had a vision. He's been talking about it for a while and has really marketed himself so well. UFC has obviously jumped on that. A lot of controversy for Aljamain Sterling, but he went out there, and I don't think he deserves it, to be fair. There was obviously a controversy on how he got his belt and all the rest. But he's defended it loads of times. The man's, has come out incredibly humble. He even said, I lost this fight. There's no way that I'm challenging Volk.
He's humble in that sense.
Work on, and all the rest. So it's really good to, I obviously think that's a win for Sterling's PR department, most definitely.
Yeah.
So let's let's not diss Sterling too much here, but good on Sean O'Malley for really
For sure.
in.
Yeah, no, I held a little bit of content against Aljo, like against that first Petty Yarn fight, but then he bounced back and fought him again. So I was like, it is what it is. Had a bit of a layover, but then he's fought pretty regularly since then, in a sense, for a champion. Champions don't fight that bloody often.
Yeah, that's right. He's still stayed fairly active, and he's had a fight previously in the year, and
exactly.
he's looking really good, looking really strong, and that's exactly what we want to see. Sort of looping back to earlier, I think UFC are immediately going to throw Cheeto at Sugar.
I think that's the biggest show.
I think that'll be the biggest
rematch.
One. Yeah, that's right. For where he reckons he never lost the fight, and he sort of lost that fight. So
he sort of did. Yeah,
that's right. So he obviously wants that. Immediately called him out afterwards. Saying that his fights were boring and stuff like that. So So this is a fight that Sean obviously wants to see. So I can see it happening. I think it'll be an easy defense for Sean O'Malley straight off the bat, and I reckon that's exactly what UFC want to give him. I reckon they want to put him in the limelight and in that spotlight for as long as possible, and really market themselves on Sean O'Malley, and so I reckon Cheeto is going to be his next. I guess we could say victim. It should be. That's right. I reckon. I reckon UFC they're going to strategize this pretty well, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's it.
You have a few there, like Corey Sanhagen, Marab, but like even Henry Cejudo, really, trying to call him out. But like the one that makes the most sense is O'Malley's already called him out, Cheeto's called him back. Like that's going to be the fight to happen.
Yeah.
They've fought before, like you're saying it, like this time he might be a bit of a victim because like O'Malley has improved a lot since that last fight they had. And I don't know if Cheeto's improved the same amount. It's hard to tell because they fight different fighters, but
that's right. It could
O'Malley might like that fight.
Yeah, for sure. I'd also like to see Marab finally step up and have a shot at the title. He's sort of been gatekeeping that number one spot for a little while because he hasn't wanted to challenge Sterling, and
stupid.
I think it is very stupid and very dumb. I would like to see that fight before I see a Sterling rematch.
Yeah,
Sterling can sort of go back to the drawing board, but I just think Marab's sort of a bit useless. If he's not going for the championship, then there's no point. There's no point in just gatekeeping that number one spot if like someone's your mate. Like now that title's open, I feel like UFC should give him a crack at actually having a go for it and really getting that on board. If not, Aljo, to get that rematch would be a good matchup in that respect.
Could be, yeah. I can tell why they're not giving him the rematch straight away because like not early stoppage, but like early finish, second round early. It wasn't that close. It's like there's not much argument there where you would have survived. Granted, if things went a different way, but like from what we saw, it's like give us Cheeto versus O'Malley twice, the second one, and then I want to see Marab finally get a shot.
Yeah,
and then bring back Aljo after that.
Yeah, that's right. I think that'd be sort of the best case scenario. And as we said before, Sterling hasn't had the hottest PR rep for UFC, so I think
not at all.
I think it'd be a smartest play for UFC to throw as many fighters at O'Malley before the return of Sterling.
For sure.
And even then, will he be able to reclaim the throne? I guess we'll have to find out.
That's exactly right. I mean, it'll be a pretty short turnaround, I reckon. I don't reckon it'll be that big. O'Malley seemed pretty fresh afterwards, so he's probably pretty willing to fight again. Cheeto's got to obviously have a bit of a layoff now that he's fought Pedro, but we'll see how it goes. Didn't seem that damaged after the fight either, so who knows?
I was about to say
early next year.
They both walked out very comfortable. I mean, even Sean O'Malley was talking to McGregor about headlining in December. He wants to go straight away and have another crack again. So it should be very interesting to see. And let's hope that we can get another fight in for O'Malley before the end of the year.
Imagine if he's on the same card as McGregor versus Michael Chandler.
It will be the biggest pay-per-view event.
Huge
ever.
card.
Like nothing will be able to top that, and that'll be massive for UFC. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they throw it. They're arguably the biggest name in UFC at the moment, and arguably Conor is the other biggest name in the UFC. Even though he's not active and hasn't fought in a very long time, he's still very relevant in that fight game. And
Conor McGregor's definitely still he holds on to that relevance. I'm pretty sure we gave him a bit of Raz last episode.
We definitely did.
But Conor definitely still holds a lot of what is it? Just, I guess people say it for the casuals, but it's like every person who thinks about UFC or MMA, they're like, oh, Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
like everyone knows who Conor McGregor is.
Yeah, that's right, and he's got a massive fan base. Like there's
Huge.
so many people out there that are just
people love him.
just following the sport for McGregor, and so many people will get back into it once McGregor really kicks off again, and
that's it.
Goes from there. So that's what's up and coming, or what's about to come, or what we can expect from future cards, but. I guess speaking into the next one, the one that's coming up in Sydney this week, UFC 293. We've got it in Australia with a bunch of Aussies fighting, and it's a very, very exciting card.
That's it. We finally got another card down here. This is the second one we've had in a recent span of time, sort of. Like, it's good. We got one a year ago.
Yeah, true. We had some really, really cool fights on that card.
It was earlier this year. Yeah, it was earlier this year.
February this year, and
it's the second in a year.
Yep, that's right. And Volkanovski challenged Islam.
Yeah, Islam. That was that fight. Yep,
that was the last fight that was down here. And it's another banger. That was a brilliant card, and this will be as well.
This will be a good one. It kind of. I think I saw a question just before we start into it. I think I did see a question that was like, should we be paying the same amount we pay for different like UFC cards when one's like, for example, the one just gone, which is arguably more stacked, and the one even before that way more stacked, the Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier one, compared to like these cards here, which are like a few lower fighters, not as like well known, but it's like it's hard to tell. I don't know. I kind of saw it and was like, maybe you should notch off like a 20% discount or something for certain fighters. I don't know.
Right. Okay. No, see, look. I
guess it is what it is. The price is what it is. You get good fights, you get all right fights.
Yeah, that's right. I think they should. I think they should definitely just keep it at the same sort of like grounded pay-per-view, price. So then that way, when there is a big event, don't charge people more.
Then they can't. That's actually a good point.
As long as they don't charge people more for it, then it's not so bad. You're already paying a ridiculous amount, and people will pay a ridiculous amount to see those awesome fights. Yeah. But on the same respect, and on the same card, you still want to back in those like lower tier fighters, and especially when it's coming from somewhere like Australia, I'll happily back in my boys in that.
This one's a little bit different because we'll be buying it no matter what.
100%. I don't think it matters anyway. I think we're always going to pay for it. I think a lot of people will as well, but
that's how it goes.
But in the same respect, backing in all the Aussie boys here.
Of course, it's hard not to. All right, let's jump into it. So we got the first fight of the night, which is actually, I'm pretty sure he's one of the only ones that isn't, because I think this one had Kai Kara France, but he pulled out.
Yes.
So this one's Tyson Pedro versus Antoine. Now, I don't know this guy's name, because this guy's only fought, I think, one other fight in the UFC. But it's Antoine Turkalagji.
Yep, nice.
Something like that. This one's to start off the main card.
Now, there's another thing here, because just before we go into it, is that with a lot of Australians being on the card, you always want to back in the Australians, but we're also seeing a lot of fighters step up from the Dana White Contender Series here.
Yeah.
So there's actually a fair few. I think there's 3 fights on here where we're seeing people from Dana White Contender Series step up from that Contender Series onto a more or less a main card straight off the bat, which is really cool to see. And these are your up and coming fighters that you really want to have a look at.
In those divisions for sure.
Yeah. We've got some wicked names coming up from the Dana White Contender Series already, and they're the people that you want to watch. We've also got Tough and all of those kind of things as well, of course, which is a little bit more better marketed, I think. But I
think better marketed because especially with the house stuff, it used to be a lot more like controversial in this. Oh, not controversial, but just more like easier to watch because it's in a reality TV show. Yeah, so like it was just like easy content to watch.
Oh yeah.
But with Contender Series, I definitely feel like it's better talent. I mean, you've got 2 who are already champions from Contender Series. You've got Sean O'Malley, who's current champion now, and then Jamal Hill, who had to step down because of injury, but he won the light heavyweight title.
Yeah, that's right. So you get your best fighters.
You get good fighters
from the Dana White Contender Series. So that's some stuff to look forward to here, and some things that I will be taking into consideration when I'm having a look at these next couple of cards while we've got them.
For sure. I think for this first one, Tyson Pedro versus Anton. Now, I don't know enough about Antoine because I think he's only had 1 fight in the UFC so far. Tyson's had a couple. I think this was the guy I was looking at who's had like 7 cancelled fights. But he's also fought a couple times. I think he even has fought Pantoja, the champion from the division below. So, like, I am backing him off the bat straight away.
Yep. I've also got Tyson Pedro in this one.
Yeah.
I think I was having a look before here of what Anton had done, and there was a Dana White Contender Series fight in there, and that was pretty much his only win. So we're backing Tyson Pedro in this one.
For sure.
Yeah, we're backing Tyson Pedro in this one, just solely based on experience here.
Experience.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm probably going to go with decision for this one. Seems like they're both... Like, Antoine doesn't seem that... His one fight, like, wasn't that bad, but, like, it's like you can't really tell much off it. Not professional, but, like, UFC is just a different animal. As soon as you verse these guys here, it's the best of the best.
But that's
so
right.
like,
and you're fighting under
to tell.
huge stage lights as well.
Yeah.
And that's got to be nerve-wracking, for anyone new going into it. A lot of people say they thrive from it, but there are people that have been in that scenario plenty of times. Like, I can only imagine getting under those massive stage lights under a main event with millions and millions of people watching, that's got to be somewhat nerve-wracking. So
100%.
I'm going to back Tyson Pedro on this one.
Still backing Tyson.
Yep, most definitely. And I'm going first round knockout.
Bang, there you go.
Straight off
Beautiful.
The bat. He's got a record for doing it before.
He does.
So, let's back it in again. I reckon the nerves are going to get to Anton, and we're just going to go the whole way. And
very fair.
Tyson Pedro for this one.
I think his last 2 have been knockouts as well, first round. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So there's a very good chance.
Yep. Yeah. Let's hope for it. I mean, they're the exciting ones to see.
And then we've got Justin Taffer versus Austin Lane.
Yep.
So this one's it's hard not to back the Taffers here, because we've just watched I think last week
Max Holloway
his younger brother versus I forget the dude's name.
Yeah, Junior Tuffer versus man, I can't remember it.
God, I can't remember his name, but he knocked him out first round, so it was like
a Junior has just been putting on an absolute show, man. Like the Tougher boys are really, really fun to watch, and they're awesome to see. They're both brilliant fighters and both put on an absolute clinic, and I think
they both hunt that knockout.
Most definitely.
What we'd love to see.
That's right. It'll be an absolute scrap. This is another Dana White Contender Series fight as well that we're going into for this one.
Yeah.
And I just think the experience is going to prevail here. I'm also going to back him in because he's an Aussie boy. So
I'm backing him for sure.
Yep, that's what we want. And I'm going first round knockout here. It'll be an absolute brawl, and these guys will scrap.
Yeah.
But I just don't think anyone's stopping the Taffer boys at the moment. They're pretty good.
No, I think I agree with you pretty hard here. I'm going to go the exact same. First round knockout for Justin Taffer here.
That's huge.
Yeah, they're going to he's going to knock him out. They're going to start swinging, and then these Taffer boys, like you just said, they're tough, and they're coming out swinging at the moment, and they're on the rise.
That's what you want. That's what you want. That's exactly what you want.
For the next fight, we have another I think this is another one from the Contender Series.
Yeah, we've got Contender Series after Contender Series, pretty much until the main event. We've got Manel Cape maybe, and Felipe dos Santos.
That sounds about right. Yeah, definitely Felipe.
Yeah, there you go. That's all. Yeah. See, look, Felipe was the only one that I was actually mildly confident with.
Yeah.
Going into that one,
I think he's a pretty heavy underdog too. Yeah, Manel's a pretty heavy favourite here. I think Felipe is the same thing. I think he's just had the one Dana White Contender Series fight, and that's it. He's jumping straight up. Or he might have one UFC fight as well. There's a lot of younger, like you said at the beginning, a lot of young up-and-coming fighters here on this card.
And that's super, super cool to see. That's exactly what we want to see with these ones. They're where, it really separates the boys from the men and people and how far they can go. I just think, again, experience is going to prevail in this fight. I am backing it in for another round 1 knockout. Yeah. I'm going pretty much round 1 knockouts this whole card.
Yeah, I was about to say that's 3 in a row. Here we go.
Stacked cards. That's right. I reckon there's going to be a few highlight reels on this one, and this is going to be another one of them. I can't. Unfortunately, I can't back in too many Dana White Contender Series fighters as of yet until I start to see them a little bit more active within the UFC.
It is tough.
And I just think experience does really go a long way in any division, over, any sort of category. It's always going to be the experience does prevail in a lot of senses. Yeah. So, let's expect Well, I'm going to expect another round one knockout coming off here as well.
Easy done, yeah. First round knockouts all around. That's fair. And we don't talk about this at all beforehand, guys. And we don't copy each other. We try to go technically separate, but we just both feel the same way. Manel's going to come out and he's going to beat him for sure. I get the same feeling. I don't feel like first round knockout. I am feeling a knockout from Manel though. I reckon he's going to take him out pretty early, but I don't think it's first. I reckon early second round.
Second round we're going.
He's going to start putting the pressure on him early and then get it done.
Oh, beautiful. See, I like that. I love it when we sort of both are going for knockouts because they're the ones that you want to see. They're the ones that you want to watch, and they are tons of fun to watch. So
for sure,
you know that's definitely what I'll be backing in these ones, and you know just. Round 1 and 2 knockouts, that's what we're going for. That's what I'll be putting my money on. So
you get happy even if your fighter wins or you chuck a bet on and it wins or whatever. But when you see a knockout, no matter what happens,
it doesn't matter.
Oh my god!
It's fun.
It's awesome.
When they're showing previews for fighters when they fight in the future and they're on the highlight reels and you're just like, oh my god, I've seen that fight like that. How good was that? It's one of those things. So. We're back in the hype here. We've got Aussies all over this card, and we're just going to back in round 1 knockouts too, which is super
early
exciting.
Knockouts.
Yep. Let's get it done.
And then to start off the main card, you have Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. Ooh. Now, this is actually a banger of a fight. I don't think this should fly under the radar at all. This one's a really good fight. I like the way Alexander Volkov fights. And I obviously love Tai Tuivasa.
Man, like Tai himself is just an absolute scrapper. Like, just can throw himself at anyone. Just has that total go about him. I've been watching highlights of his all week. Been watching highlights of both of them all week, really. Yeah. And this will be a very, very fun fight.
Yeah, it is.
I respect Volkov a lot. In this one, this is where I'm sort of having that like heart versus mind thing going.
Same. This is the one that tugs at your heartstrings a little bit.
That's right. I would hate to see Tuivasa lose here. Losing 3 will be, a big sort of L for him. And he will definitely need to show up. However, he does look as fit as he has ever looked at the moment. He's been putting in the work behind the scenes. I follow him on practically everything. And, he actually looks pretty cut at the moment. Like,
he's been training really a lot by the seams of it.
Yeah, that's right. He's really been showing out and really been having a crack. So, I'm guessing his fitness is going to be there. He's always had okay fitness in the sense that he's just got that dog in him and is just able to just keep going no matter taking the beating and still having a good red hot crack. Yeah,
he does. He's actually surprisingly pretty agile and fit for a heavyweight.
Yeah, that's right. And to no means does he look it, but the man can throw hands. The man can throw hands for sure. But you got Volkov on the other side,
who's a beast. Yeah.
Who's a beast? Who's an absolute beast, and a scary matchup here.
Very scary for Tai, because you got to think like, how did that Cyril Gane fight went against him? Like, Cyril's obviously a different level of competitor, but Volkov and Cyril would be a great fight. Cyril, he might fight similar style of like taking it away and just attacking the stomach. Like he's just attacking the mid region, attacking the legs, and then there's only so many of those you can take before someone comes in and finishes you. Yeah. Now, he caught Cyril a couple times during that fight.
That's right. It could have.
So it's just about
there was a couple
if that's
of
the right moment. Like,
there's a couple of times in that fight where could have been all over for Gane, and you sort of look back at Tuivasa's wobble after that, and then going for those big haymakers. If he lands those, man, that kills people.
It's lights out.
That's right. There's no coming back from that, and he would have one of the hardest punches in all of UFC. Like, that'd be a scary man to go up against. But I think Volkov's going to come into this with a very, very tactical sort of tactical. He is a tactical fighter, and he sort of is a lot better at keeping his range, but can still throw hammers at the same time. Has a little bit more technique. It'll just be a matter of whether or not Tuivasa can actually land those big shots where it counts.
Catch him, yeah. Oh, it's a tough one.
What are we doing, Saki boy? Where are you going with this?
Well, so I've been saying I'll stay away from the heart, but I can't help it. I'm going to back Tai Tuivasa in here for a knockout.
Yep. Do you have a round on it?
I don't think it'll be early. I don't think Volkov will let him get close early, unless Tai can chuck a Derek Lewis flying knee to distract him.
Man, wouldn't it be cool?
But I'm feeling that like he's going to catch him, but he's going to catch him late second round, early third. I reckon Volk's going to put the pressure on him a lot, Might possibly third, possibly just come out swinging because he can't handle much more pressure from Volk. Because Volk's going to, like you said, I agree, he's going to come out very tactical. He's going to use that front kick. He's going to use his jab. He's going to try and keep distance, but I'm backing Ty for closing that distance, knocking him out.
Let's go.
Yeah.
See, I think that's I think you're pretty much spot on there. I'm going Ty with a round 2 knockout.
Bang, there we go.
And for the exact same reasons, I reckon Volkov's gonna be playing it very wise. I reckon Ty is definitely going to take some damage in those earlier sort of rounds, and whether or not that sort of extends through round 2 into 3 as well will be interesting to see. But I reckon Ty will be almost forced into a situation where he has to go for a finish, and let's hope my boy gets it. I'll back you in 100%, Ty.
Yeah, of course.
He's just a weapon all around the board, and he's one of those people that I want to see continuing to fight wicked fights in the UFC because he continuously does.
Yeah, he's fighting the top fighters out there, and he's doing a good job. I mean, Cyril was the interim champ there for a little bit. I'm not sure if he wasn't. He was interim champ, then fought for the title against John. So, and he did very well against him. You can only handle so much from a strategic fighter like that.
That's right.
Kicking you to the stomach so often. He'd probably come in with a different game plan, but Ty all the way. Ty's up there, and he deserves to be up there. Let's get him a bounce back fight.
Yeah, let's get it. We can't have a 3P. We're gonna back in our boy Ty 100%.
He's a heavy underdog, so definitely a great bet.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And man, if it hits on a round 2 or 3 knockout, that's big money. So,
that's big money there.
So let's hope for the best. We are not by any means professional gamblers here, but at the same time gamble responsibly.
Gamble responsibly, but bet house. No, gamble responsibly.
Yeah, beautiful. The last one.
The main card, there it is. The top of the main card, we've got Izzy Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. Now, this one. Now, we are recording this pre-press conference, so we haven't heard the great things you guys are going to hear.
Oh, man, am I looking forward to this press conference.
Sean's going to give it to him, call him all sorts of things, the Chinese champion, the bloody anime queen, or whatever he's going to call him.
Oh man, it's gonna be unfortunately round 1 knockout for Sean Strickland in the press conference. And
yeah,
man,
100%.
I just do not see Sean Strickland really faulting in that area. The man is so loose and just doesn't back off. We're talking a bit about the press conference here. Sadly, I think that's the only place where he's going to win. But it will be an absolute dominance, and it will be wicked to watch. It'll be fun. It's a really good show for the UFC, but backing it in, and I'm glad that he's taken this fight. It's really good to see. Sort of a bit of a late one too, considering it's only been locked in, maybe a month or so ago. So
and they already had the card set up, and they didn't have a main event for it. Yeah, and they were like, "Please, Izzy, sign this."
Yeah, and Sean Strickland, deserves to be there.
He's a great fighter.
That's right. If you're getting big wins in I think his last one was a fight night against someone from Dagestan, so you can sort of expect that if he can piece up anyone, he deserves a title shot, and
100%.
He performs incredibly well at the Apex, so let's see how he does in Sydney.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, like you said, first round knockout for Sean in the press conference, but it's probably going to be a bit of a flip in the actual fight, because I don't see Sean's even admitted it. He should go to the ground, but he's like, I'm probably not gonna.
I only just found out the other day that Sean Strickland is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Yeah,
did not know
that is true.
Yeah,
but you got to be careful. Sometimes there's a lot of controversy in the UFC because sometimes they say they shouldn't be given black belts when others should be.
Yeah,
because I don't know, maybe look at Gilbert Burns, I think he's a black belt. But it's the difference. But the difference between him and Sean would be massive on the ground.
Oh yeah. Huge.
But still, he's still legit. It's not like he's a scrub. He'd tap me and you out in a second.
Oh yeah. Hands. He'd tap both of us out at the same time in a second. But I think the fun part about this fight is that Sean has said I should be taking this fight to the ground, but he's not. He wants to stand up. He wants to bob. He wants to put on a show for the people, and I think he's going to do that. It sounds stupid, but I don't think this fight is going to be as blown out as what people expect.
Yeah.
Izzy's went on to say that, he doesn't underestimate any fighter that he comes up. So, we can expect, a big outing from Izzy in this respect. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Strickland goes out there and goes, hey, listen, I can prove that I can do it.
Yeah.
And we've only got to look at UFC 292 to prove that the underdog can get up and become champion. So,
very true.
In that respect, Sean Strickland's going to go out there and have a crack.
Yeah, 100%. I reckon he will. He does it with every fighter. He's not afraid of fighting. He loves fighting.
He loves it.
It's one thing he definitely loves, and especially against top fighters, he doesn't mind.
He's a ruthless bloke.
He tried to walk down Alex Pereira, which is just a terrible idea. It ended badly, but he tried to do it.
And nobody does that. Have you seen the look on that on his face? Like, man,
he's a bloody gorilla for that division. Like,
oh yeah.
He looks a bit better in the division he's in now, but he's still big fella.
As plenty of people have went on to say, he's got some hands. Like, the man can throw, and when you're not scared of that, it sort of shows that, he's got that dog in him and he's keen to fight.
For sure.
What can we expect from Sean Strickland in this fight?
Definitely no bad talk on Sean. I love him.
Honestly, I wish this was just a press conference fight.
Yeah.
Because
keep going in the press conference.
I can only see Izzy winning this fight. Izzy's.
I just can't see Sean winning. Yeah, I'm the same.
Izzy's a brilliant fighter, and he's so ergonomic in the way that. He can find angles. He can piece people up. He's long. He's got good reach. Strickland does too, but I just think that Izzy's in just a different world.
I think he's just on. Yeah, same thing. I agree. He's on a way different level.
Yep. I don't see this fight going the distance. I can see Izzy finishing this within the first 3 rounds, and we're going to say round 3.
Yeah.
We're gonna go for this one sort of midway through. I don't think it makes the championship rounds. I reckon Strickland's plan going into it will be to try and out cardio him and try and keep that constant pressure on and just sort of play for points. I think that's the only real way that Strickland's got a chance. But I just think that Izzy can keep the pace better than what Sean Strickland can.
He's 100%.
He's just more agile and can get those shots in, and he will get those shots in, and it will be round 3 for a knockout.
There you go. Now, I'm pretty similar. I reckon round 2 knockout. I reckon first round's going to be a bit touch and go here and there, depending on Sean's strategy. He might try and push him towards the fence and hold on to him a bit, dirty box. Like you said, gain points possibly, but there's only so much you could do that against Izzy, who's just the best at staying away but hitting people. At maintaining distance, Izzy's one of the best, if not the best at the moment, for sure.
Yep.
So I'm definitely going Izzy second round knockout, possibly late or mid, but he's going to catch him in the second round.
Man, you know what I'd like?
He's going to catch him on one of those beautiful angles.
Oh yeah, that's right. And just another highlight reel for Izzy, really.
Yeah.
I would love to see Sean Strickland tap Israel Adesanya.
That'd be crazy.
That would be. Everyone would be mind blown, man.
Yeah.
It would be absolutely crazy. Seeing all the memes going around at the moment of having there's photos of Sean O'Malley, Sean Strickland, and who's the other one? Make America Great Again, calling everyone virgins. What's his name? Fights in Leon Edwards' division. Colby
Covington. Yep, I was about to say that. Was so close.
And seeing the 3 of those guys champions, and it's a bit of a meme, but shit, man. After seeing Sugar Sean get up, you never know with these fights. You never know with these fights, and it might be something crazy like that he pulls out of the bag. Still backing in Izzy the whole way, but
gotta be crazy if Sean won. If Sean wins, it's. I'm not sure if it's good or bad for the UFC in the sense of press, because he's going to put out some crazy comments.
He already has put out some crazy.
He already
comments,
has,
and I think it's been buried at the fact that he hasn't had well, to be fair, I think it's been buried because Izzy's just been so dominant in this division. So the spotlight's sort of been off him. But once the spotlight's off him and everything sort of surfaces and all the dumb stuff that he's said in time,
women should be back in the kitchen.
Oh,
he's crazy. He just says it.
It's just kids, you don't deserve. You didn't take out the trash and hit. No, they deserve an alcoholic rage beating. It's oh no, Sean, what are you doing, man?
He's a bloody animal.
Oh man, he's funny, but at the same time, man, UFC, you're just gonna go, oh. Oh god.
God.
Oh,
You can't say that, Sean. He's like, why?
That's right. They'll rematch him and Izzy next week if he becomes champion. Like,
they're bringing Pereira back down to fight him all of a sudden.
That's right. They'll keep Pereira at the same weight. Bring him down. Yeah, no, he's made the weight. He's all good.
He's all fine. Look at the size of him.
Yeah, that's right. Do the DC where he's like pushing on the tail. He'll be fine.
No, but we're both backing Izzy pretty heavily in this one.
No, that's good. We're going round one knockouts pretty much the whole time. Round two knockout, and then round 2 and 3 knockouts.
Yeah, round 2 and 3 knockouts. Hopefully this card is full of knockouts, guys.
Yeah.
The chances of us being completely right on this is probably wrong because it's not usually 5 knockouts, but we'll see. We're both backing them.
No, let's see it. I don't want to see any decisions this time. I want to see it just go the whole way. Let's see it.
Straight up.
Yep, huge.
All right, guys, that kind of tops us off with our card there, UFC 293. Some small other pieces of news that are kind of like circulating is like Team McGregor wins the Ultimate Fighter. Which I don't think anyone really saw coming.
No, when Conor McGregor's whole side gets eliminated pretty much straight off the bat, you sort of go, oh, okay.
It's not looking great.
It's not looking good. However, I suppose we've got to look at Brad Katona here in this sense. He started tough and, went out on the first couple of episodes and said, I'm on Chandler's team, but I fight with Conor McGregor. Like they train together, they spar together. So, in all fairness, congrats to Conor McGregor in that sense. I think that is a win for him, and how much. And I think Brad was a little bit mouthy in the whole tough competition, being I want to be with McGregor sort of thing. And I think he made that very verbal. But that was a brilliant fight. I think it's just been announced fight of the month. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So
there was even some beautiful love at the end of it. Showed love towards each other. So I kept beautiful. This is what a tough should be.
Yeah, that's right.
Scrap it out and then give each other a hug.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's what everyone needed to see. And massive. So good on McGregor's team for going all the way there, most definitely.
That's it. Yeah. So that kind of wraps up the tough season. McGregor wasn't actually there watching it apparently, but he would have seen it somehow. He would know.
That's right. McGregor.
I don't think he gives a shit.
McGregor hasn't been very active at all, and I've already had my rants about McGregor in the past. And
check out last episode, guys.
Yep, no, that's right. Check it out. It's at the very start. It opened it. I was not happy with McGregor, but in the same sense, I do expect to see a lot more from McGregor. With everything, man, I'm not going to rant again. But
coming up, you want to see him. He's got a fight coming up now. Technically, it's coming up at the end of the year, but I think it finishes off the UFC for the year.
Yeah,
but start putting your stuff out there, mate. Start getting the presses ready for Michael Chandler.
Yeah, that's
because he's ready. He's ready.
Michael Chandler would fight tomorrow if that was the case, and Conor McGregor would say he'd fight tomorrow, but man, it's just. He's not.
It just wouldn't.
I don't even know if he's in USADA yet. Nobody sort of knows. He's just a bit of a dark horse. Yeah, and you just can't expect anything from McGregor at the moment. So that's something we'll keep an eye on. But congrats for him winning the tough, I suppose.
Like you said, more congrats to the fighter. But
that's right.
Still good on McGregor for putting in a season worth of content and. At least giving it a crack. He seemed like he was into it with a few of his fighters, but
he definitely seemed like he showed out for a few of them. So let's really hope that some of those fighters get a chance elsewhere to move across, and I think a few of them can. But in that sense, good on the fighters that won.
That's it. Just to top it off, guys. This one's not actually UFC related, but I wanted to talk about Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis. Now, Dylan Dennis is an MMA fighter. I think he's had one fight in, I'm not sure if it was, not PFL, it was the other one. But either way, this is the battle of the scammers. And I just want to talk about how it's taken, I think everyone's probably seen a bit of the Dylan Dennis tweets or the pictures he's putting out, maybe. He's really going after Logan here. It kind of underplays.
Is he going after Logan? I feel like he's going more for his wife.
Girl, or Jake Paul and his ex-girl.
Oh man, honestly,
it's going crazy.
There is some, there's some mad beef in that, and and I just don't see why Logan Paul would take this fight or accept this fight.
It seems like a weird one, doesn't it?
It just seems like there's not an aspect of this entire scenario where Logan Paul comes out on top here. He might win the fight. But shit, he's lost in the press conference so far.
It's been bad,
and, you know, and a lot of stuff has come to the fight. He's stooped down to Dylan Dennis's level, and just all around just looks really bad for Logan Paul. Dylan Dennis has nothing to lose here. He is one of those people that's promoted himself so well. He's now got a fight that's going to make him an absolute ton of money, and he's not going to have to worry about money anytime soon. He's come out and has just pretty much been just a straight tool. But
he doesn't give a shit.
But he
doesn't.
Man, he doesn't care. If he loses this fight, he's still a winner.
He just doesn't care. He's got his money, his paycheck. He's fine.
Yeah, that's right. And he, you know, he's obviously, you know, dissed Logan Paul. There's going to be plenty of people wanting to come after him, regardless of the result. And, you know, I just don't see this being something that you know, Logan Paul wins in at all, and Dylan Dennis doesn't win in.
Like you said, I actually back Logan Paul, saying it here now. I back Logan Paul for winning the fight.
Yeah, so do I.
Just because of the size and the speed. It's like Dylan I've seen fight, and it's like he's actually kind of slow. He's great at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
but this doesn't mean shit in boxing.
That's man. No, it does not. It does not.
But you're right. It's like, why would Logan do this? Now knowing that the ultimate beat up he's copped just from Dylan Dennis online.
Man, that's right. See, this is sort of like the dominance that I'm expecting to see from Sean Strickland to Israel Adesanya here for a bit. Is just the gas ups in the you know, pre-fights and stuff 100%. Like that. So I mean, I don't see too much of a. I just don't see any scenario where this stands out good for Logan Paul. And not to mention, if Logan Paul doesn't win this fight, then, man, that's almost a career end for Logan Paul. Isn't it? That will be so bad for him. It'll tarnish Prime, who he's obviously spent so much time investing in. You've obviously got KSI and Tommy Fury. That's
actually the main card of that fight. It's kind of underplaying it a little bit, which I thought.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you've got them both fighting on the same card, but, you know, like, nobody's talking about it. You don't hear too much about it, and, you know, it's going to hurt KSI's reputation, you know, on top of this if Paul doesn't get the win here. So it'll be really nice to see both of those boys get up, and, you know, it'll boost Prime and do really well for them. But I just think overall there's a lot of tarnished names that come from Dylan Dennis, and he's he doesn't really care in that scenario. So I
mean, he made Khabib skits out, which is rare.
Yeah, no, that's all right. If you know, if
you're that bad,
that's going to be something bad. So
I might as well put my early predictions on that one. I feel like Logan Paul's going to win.
Yep.
Like you said that now, I kind of hope Dylan Dennis wins, so it's just ultimate torture for Logan.
That'd be terrible. Like, it'd be fun to talk about, but I think that's about it. Like, it'd be hard to watch.
And honestly, I back Tommy Fury against KSI. I think that's a ridiculous. I think both of these fights are silly fights. I think the whole card's kind of silly.
Oh yeah,
I don't know why they put this one on.
That's right. It's just another cash grab scheme, of course, and you know, and I guess again, having Dylan Dennis on it is promoting it so well. Like, even if they're copping a roasting, like shit,
it's still up. That's probably the only advertisement I've seen for it. It's from Dylan Dennis just roasting and people talking about that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, shit. I mean, Logan Paul and KSI have done the same thing in the past, and they've both beefed at each other, and they've both had a massive crack. Shit, imagine if Dylan Dennis came on as a Prime ambassador from then on. Holy shit! If you've heard that here first, I'm telling you, we're blowing up.
Yeah, jeez. Best enemies to best friends. They've done it before.
Oh man, they've done it before. But I do not see Tommy Fury losing. I think Tommy Fury, has definitely stayed more active, and, you know, comes from
he's a legit fighter.
Yeah, comes from a wealthy family of fighters. I think KSI is a bit of a pretender to a degree. Logan Paul's fought Floyd Mayweather, you know, arguably the greatest boxer of all time. Doesn't mean shit all he lost, but at the same time, he actually had to fight for that.
He did fight him.
Very active, so
the size difference. It's like Floyd couldn't finish him. He's too big.
Yeah, that's right. So good on him, and a little bit of a shout out there. But I think both of those fights are definitely one-sided.
Yeah, both of them definitely are. They've chosen. KSI has not chosen well. Logan Paul's chosen well. Been like, I'll fight Dylan Dennis. It's fine. Because he knows he's going to win.
Shit, I mean, couldn't you imagine Tommy Fury jumping on with the whole with the whole Prime like sort of deal, you know, like there's not a huge amount of beef there, at least that I've seen, you know. And
no, he probably has more beef against Jake Paul. So
Tommy Fury's a reputable fighter, and also you've got to remember that there was a lot of beef between KSI and Logan Paul, and now there's beef between Logan Paul and Jake Paul as well. Like,
they're going through their own little
not promoting Prime and those kind of things too. You can imagine how many pots that'd stir if Tommy Fury jumped on as a Prime promoter, and then he's got no choice in his fights to promote Prime. So can we see that or expect that in the future? Maybe, but yeah, so I suppose that's some upcoming news to look forward to.
That's it. I mean, we'll probably give that fight a watch when it comes up, to be fair.
Yeah, I always watch these like gimmicky fights.
I watch some of them. Some of them I don't, but the big ones I do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched a Jake Paul fight in the last couple, but I've watched him fight. I mean, I watched him fight Ben Askren and knock him out. I watched him fight Tyron Woodley.
I watched
both times.
Yeah, see, I watched just recently the Jake Paul and Nate Diaz fight.
Oh yeah, actually, my bad. I didn't watch that. I watched some highlights because honestly, I thought Nate Diaz was going to lose. To be fair, I didn't really, but I backed him either way because he's MMA boy, UFC veteran.
Yeah, that's right.
I just didn't see how he's going to win in boxing. It was kind of tough.
That's right. And I mean, to be fair, he held his own, and to be fair, Jake Paul looked gassed, and Nate Diaz sort of held himself pretty well in that fight. But I guess you could expect a little bit more from him, but no, I guess that's something in the boxing realm that's always worth having a bit of a talk about and having a look into. Yeah,
for sure. We'll probably stay tuned for more of those ones, guys.
Yeah, beautiful.
That kind of tops us off for today, guys. So thank you for watching again, and stay tuned for the next episode and get keen for UFC 293.
Bring on the Aussies. Let's go.
Yeah, come on, Aussies. Knockouts. Let's go. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe.